Sports Pueblo, 1350. This is the John Wristen Show, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Cervi, along with CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves head coach, John Wristen.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome one final time to Andy Max for 2016. John Wristen Show. John's in the house. Got a good house here tonight. Good crowd.
Yep.
That's a good night. And, well, that applause tapered off real quick, didn't it? They're ready to get right into the show.
3J show.
I'm Jim Brooks. That's Joe Cervi. This is the coach, John Wristen, and a cast of thousands here on the radio station. And, John, season's over, but you guys finished off kind of in style in that second half. A little tough start against Chadron State. We knew it going in. This team, sooner or later, is going to wake up and some good football, and they really played great football for about a quarter and a half. You guys finally got the ship righted there.
Well, I think that during that game, it was a game of field position, and when you put our defense has played outstanding all year, but when you give them, 50, 60 yards to go punch it in, there's not a lot of margin for error. And percentages go up that they're going to score. And then they did a good job of bottling us down in there, and we couldn't make a first down to change the field position early on. And it was just one of those things where we were just kind of treading water to keep our head above it. And then, they're driving again. And one of our seniors, Joseph Jones, made a hell of a play and an interception, and ran it back in and kind of gave us a little spark there. And we were just again struggling on offense, but defense kept playing well. And Joseph was one of those things. I thought I was telling some of the defensive coaches, shoot, you might have to score again and find a way for us to win this game. And sure enough, that after we kind of got settled, it's been kind of our MO. We've given up one drive a game type of deal, and then Hunter gets their number a little bit and starts calling things, and our defense starts playing a little bit faster, and we do a better job of tackling and manage the game. And we made enough plays the second half to win the ball game. And I thought it was really good for us. It was a tough game, and I have a lot of respect again for what Chadron State stands for. And they're going to come in. They knocked us around a little bit, and they were as quality of opponent we've had in a long time. And but I'm proud of the Thunderwolves sticking together, and proud of the way we were able to come back and win the ball game.
You mentioned Joe Jones. It was senior day. 18 seniors walked, and he's one of those guys that's been around. And I talked to him after the game, and he had a big family there, big fan club, and that was the first time he'd ever scored a touchdown ever in any league, any level of anything. And he said that he wore the same thing he wore for the national championship trip over. He wore his ring for the first time ever for senior day. Talk about Joe Jones and that that group of seniors that was on that field Saturday.
Well, I think Joe has a description of a self-made guy that Joe came here as a true walk-on and didn't earn any scholarship until after his really second year. And in this day and age, everybody wants instant gratification, and they don't want to work for it. They don't want to have the struggles for it. Well, Joseph Jones gave a definition of what it means to do it the Pack way, and he only had to take one class this fall. He's got a political science major, and he's going to go into service, and he wants going to be an officer, and so he's got a script written for him, and if a kid can come out of here in 4 or 5 years and have an understanding about what it means to be successful for the next 40 years, I think we've done our job versus winning any football game. And Joseph Jones, I think, is a description of that.
Nobody practiced like Joe Jones, in my opinion, over the last 5 years. Seeing him every day going through, he never ever went through the motions. Well, drills, I mean, he was full on all the time. Even if it's just running from sideline to sideline as part of what their coverage is. That's one kid that never took a practice play off in my mind.
Well, in his mind, he couldn't.
Right.
and he didn't want to. He had this opportunity. He wasn't going to let it up. And he was in the process of trying to make sure that he knew this was his job and he's leaving his trademark on it. And I think he's an epitome of what we want to be able to go recruit with guys, and guys that are humble enough to go to work, put their head down, do the right things academically, do the right things socially. And then if you do that, you can coach them. And Coach Leomidi did a great job of coaching them.
Well, getting back to the ball game, that was a turning point with the interception, but still, you still had to right to ship. The defense kept up the pressure, kept stopping them, giving your offense enough opportunities to get things turned around. Then you made the change at quarterback. Talk about what's going in there. I've been asked a lot. Was he hurt? Or was it just a feelings hurt or just a bad game? What were the mechanics going into making the switch at quarterback?
Well, I just felt during the game that we were, again, treading water on offense. We couldn't make a first down. They were beating us to the punch on the offensive line. And we weren't executing the way we needed to. And I believe at the time that I pulled Rex, he was 1 of 8 or 1 of 9.
1 of 9 for 10 yards and a pick.
And so I didn't think that what I was looking for is how do we get another first down. Really, that's what I'm looking for. I mean, just getting another first down to give us a little spark to be able to do that. And so the series before, I told the staff, I says, hey, I think Rex is struggling. I don't think he's throwing the ball well. I think I'm going to make a change. I guess I want you guys to be ready for that. And then it happened. He threw the pick, I believe, at that time. And I said, AJ, get loose because you're going. And I think it's a process of where AJ didn't hang his head from the third game on. And the way AJ handled himself, he deserved a chance when things weren't actually going right to give us a spark. And if AJ did not handle it in a professional way, in a way that as it being a great teammate, I don't know if I could have said that. So, to me, it was a byproduct of what has gone on after week 3 and the way he's practiced and earned that. And I thought Rex played well this whole year. I thought Rex did a lot of great things. But sometimes we need a spark. And I just felt like AJ was going to give it to us, and sure enough, he makes a couple plays.
Yeah, he made some good throws on that drive, and then Larry Clark made some incredible catches. That always helps when you have the eraser out there at wide receiver, can catch anything thrown at him. But even then, you get the touchdown, miss the extra point. That's when you know it's going to be an uphill struggle all day, because you get that extra point, you feel like a tied game, but you're still behind, and you just can't get over the hump. The second half, turn it over. They've got another shot, but then they turned it over, and that kind of changed the ball game when they turned it over there mid-play on the trick play.
Well, I think, again, you go back to that first drive that A.J. had. He had great patience on throwing that touchdown pass to Larry. And
it almost like he hesitated just for a second, waited for him to come open, didn't he?
And you know that you really don't realize it until it doesn't go in.
Yeah, then you're like, oh.
And because of not only is the motivation of that whole thing, meaning the momentum, the motivation, everybody getting excited that you're ready to go, is such a factor on going in. And now you're going on a kind of a downer. And they went on a pretty good drive right at the end of that, right as it happened. Then we made a play and stopped it. And so those are all such critical things that you just can't take for granted. And so, at halftime there was no panic. We just went in there and tried to give them some direction what was going. And our guys were excited to go play the second half. Now, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
But we found a way to score some more points than them in the second half. And I think the key play, like you described, is they tried a little trick play. The ball popped out. We were able to get it, and then we were able to drive down and make a play. And then I think the real key play of that was we went for two. And AJ made one.
Oh, that was incredible.
Heck of incredible. I said, well, that's how you design it.
Yeah.
Shoot. And we were able to get to that 7-point lead, and then things happened.
Yeah, the defense just kept cranking it up, and I think their quarterback, we talked about it going in, their quarterback play has kind of been what's holding them back this year, but the quarterback played pretty well for about a half, but I think the pressure as the game went on, you kept hitting him, and he started getting a little antsy back there, didn't he? It's just not waiting for the throws to come open. I think that's the whole gist of the thing.
Well, I think we've been able to shut the run down all year and make them all one-dimensional, and I think that kind of puts a lot of pressure on that quarterback position, puts a lot of pressure on your receivers, and so the way Coach Hughes and Coach Liamidi and Coach Fetters and JT has that thing going, our guys are going to be very patient and keep the ball in front of you. And then once you catch the ball in front of you, we're going to rally and tackle you. And I think that wears on people at the end of the game.
Well, it's kind of nice, though. Even though you'd like to, beat people convincingly, it's kind of fun to get your players tested like that, to see how they respond in a tough situation, and particularly your young guys. When you look forward to years to come, it's nice to be in a battle like that when you're looking into the future to see how they handled it, and I thought they handled it well.
Well, I think every game there's a lesson to be learned. There's always something that's going to come up, and I think we had a lot of lessons this year.
Yeah.
And we are in the process of evaluating all those, and evaluating our players, evaluating the things that we're doing, and so this is quality control time that we normally don't have this
right,
time of year,
exactly.
but it's the thing that we got to take advantage of and grow from. But I think that the reality of this, that our guys like being tested, and the way you want to get and you want to respond. That was one hell of a college football game. And I had a lot of people come up and say, God, that was kind of a fun college football game. Right. That was really neat. And I never thought of it that way. I got a pencil stuck in my eye and trying to get that out. And but I appreciate the fan support and what we had going on, but I'm really proud of our staff. I'm really proud of our kids, the way they were able to come back and win a ball game.
Well, and you win, you get dunked. You a share of another conference championship. It's all the trials that you had, the rough start, the game that was stolen at Mesa, the winning streak, the change of quarterback, the massive injury to Bernard McDonald, the just new staff, some of the new positions. You think you put all that together, and at the end of the day, you're still Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference champions. That has to be satisfying.
Yeah, I think it's again, we're excited. We are RMAC champs. I think there's something in the back of our there's a bitter taste in our mouth a little bit, because in all reality, we think we should be RMAC champs and not share with anybody. And it's a hard thing to say and carry over that it's not. You're not crying over spilled milk, per se. And so that's the last time I'm going to say that. But I think for us that are with our staff and our players, it is a little melancholy understanding that we should be RMAC champs. We should get being ready for playoff game, but those things were taken away from us.
All right, we are at Andy Mack's John Wristen Show. We've got our usual hors d'oeuvres here. We got our meatballs. We got our fried chicken nuggets. They're awesome. A few more sauces tonight.
Spring rolls. Southwest spring
Look at those. They were hiding behind the glass. I'm liking that. All right. So come on down and join us. We got questions coming up in our, we might start taking them next segment, third segment. We got the hot mic. We got some prizes to give away. If anybody here in the house wants to give John a question in person, we got some swag to give you, some nice water bottles there, or whatever you want to put in there. You might be able to fill it up with an adult beverage here at Andy Mack's and drink it.
And inside there's chapstick.
Yeah, well.
Because who doesn't put chapstick in a water bottle?
That's a different twist. I kind of like it.
It's a gift package.
It is a gift package indeed. So come on down and join us. If you have a question for the coach, 719-671-7574, or you can tweet Joe. You can text John if you got a question for him. I don't care. But my phone is 671-7574. We'll be back after this timeout. John Wristen Show from Andy Max on Fox Sports Pueblo.
On Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350.
And welcome back to Andy Max, John Wristen Show here on Fox Sports Pueblo, our final show of the year. Come on down and join us. If you got a question for the coach, 719-671-7574. We have a few of them lined up, but we still have time to take a few more before we get into that. John, we look back on this senior class. 18 are leaving you, but I can think of years past when you had a senior class leave and thinking how devastating it was. But when you look at this one, you have about 8 or 9 starters that were seniors. You had a lot of role players. No slight to the seniors that are leaving, but it's not quite as damaging as it has been in years past. I mean, you've got a pretty well-stocked cupboard full of talent left on this ball club.
You're setting me up again, Brooksy. You set me up.
Next year, Coach. Just wait till next year.
Well, I'm not pulling a Ralph Turner on you like I told Ralph. Like, well, Ralph, this is your class. It's about time to start winning, isn't it? He goes, Brooksy, you're already firing me. No, Ralph. That's what I'm doing. But, you know.
Well, I'm really proud of what these seniors accomplished. I think LaRon Tarkenton really had a fabulous year. Did a great job. I think he was emotional and physical leader of this team. I think that he did a job that I didn't know whether he could do, and that was lead this team. And
led the Pack Jacks before the game, and the Are You Ready's at practice, and that's kind of a big deal when you think about all the guys that have done that through the 9 years. It's that guy, and every year you wonder who's going to be the guy to step up. And I was curious this year, and I was a little bit shocked that it was him when it first came out. I really was.
Well, I think that it's he deserved that right, and I think Samuel Singleton had a great year. I think that he,
in more ways than one.
Yeah, he is his firstborn, and he's graduating. I got the hiccups. Holy smokes!
It's those egg rolls. Southwestern egg rolls, and those are beautiful.
I did try one of those, so
that could be the problem. I'm feeling like I'm glad you're talking right now.
I'm glad they weren't spring rolls, but I'm glad they were egg rolls. So, and but getting back, I think moving Sammy inside was a good move for us. I thought a guy
more natural.
Yeah, I think that's where he belonged and did a nice job. I think he got better as the year went, and I think Ian Kelly did a nice job. He was steady Eddie. Guy didn't say boo. Was a role model. I thought,
that was a guy that we thought, okay, on the other side of Croy, Josh Croy is going to have this monster year. Everybody was going to expect him. That's when Ian Kelly comes out and is the guy on the other end, like Morgan Fox and Darius. And I mean, you always had that complimentary player. I thought Ian Kelly was poised to have that breakout year until Josh Croy went down, and then you're like, oh, so now you got to be the guy. And you know what he did? He quietly was the guy off the edge, but he had a lot of help. The defense this year was more of a let the backers do their job, but I thought Ian played well pretty much all year.
Yeah, I think that he needed that help on that other side.
Right.
And but this is a year that he really understood how to stay in that gap and be consistent. I mean, without him, I don't know if our defense would have been as good, to tell you the truth. And so he really did his job and carried it out. And I'm really going to miss Ian. The other guy I thought had a absolutely fantastic senior year was Ryan Merrill.
Sure. Oh my goodness.
Ryan Merrill had one of his best years as any guy that had not played a whole bunch.
Well, Joe and I on the air thought if you're going to have a defensive MVP, would it be Merrill? You think if you had, they give that award, or do you have those kind of awards you give to guys?
No, we don't do that. I mean,
okay, I'm putting you on the spot. Would he be?
Oh, well, I think he'd be in the running.
Okay.
I don't know if he'd be the guy.
All right.
What we noticed about Ryan Merrill is he was not a starter at the beginning of the season on the depth chart. He was a senior, and he was the guy who had some injuries, and then he came back. And when he got into the starting lineup, rather than say, finally I'm here, he went on a holy terror for about the next 6 games.
Well, I think you got to realize there's a little dynamics here because Trace Gray had to talk to Trace and said we had to find our best 11, and that meant Trace moving down to defensive end and playing. And Trace battled the whole year, wasn't healthy. He's got a bum knee, and he's got some other ailments, but he kept bringing it. And so with Trace and the way his body wasn't quite sure, but he was going to do anything for his team in his senior year. So Trace, again, is another of those definitions that you want in the pack way to be doing those. And that gave an opportunity for Ryan. And once we did that, I thought our defense got better.
You know what we liked about Trace Gray, and Jim's mentioned this before, he's the guy that's at every event. He's at all the volleyball games. He's at all the basketball games. He's the guy that you look in the stands, Trace Gray's at everything.
Yeah,
and he embraced the pack student-athlete life and went to everything.
He was running the tailgate in the basketball playoffs.
It was like, it's fun to see a kid like that come out of Longmont and Silver Creek and then just embrace the whole life and be the guy that's not even on the field, but just in the stands. And I mean, when we recognize it, you know that's got to be something because we're kind of focused on the thing at hand. But it was kind of neat to see him at everything.
I value Trace Gray. I value him. And he should have got some for his senior year, all league and honorable mention, but it didn't happen. And I felt bad because I really think that he has that type of ability, and he made some big plays for us, batting the ball down, getting a key sack.
A sack at an opportune time. Didn't have many, but when he did, they were huge.
But Trace, you look over his 4-year period, and you got to go experience the national championship, and he was such a big part of being a role guy and understanding. How about we go to Midwestern last year? And we needed him to snap the ball. And he did. And I have so much respect for Trace and what he's able to bring.
And the lovely weather at Wichita Falls.
Oh my goodness,
that was just miserable.
And then we had Alex Balcones got a chance to play this year that never had a chance to play before. And Alex got a unique story, and I'm proud of the way he responded. And I know he wished he could be a little healthier and make those things happen. But I think the guy in offense that really made some things happen for us was Daniel Weiss. And Weiss with the speed and being able to make those things take place that help keep the safeties from being on us. And then, we're going to have, Larry Clark played the last 5 games for us. And it was one of those things that we were able to get. And he was he did a nice job.
Well, the Daniel Weiss story is the one that I was going to tell this week. I had it kind of planned that I do these features, and it was going to be the Daniel Weiss story this week, but unfortunately the season's over. But here's a kid who missed all of last season because of off-the-field problems, and he had to not only overcome the legalities of that and the student-athlete of that, but he had to also get back in the good graces of the football team and program, and to be quite honest, I mean, if you're in the John Wristen doghouse, whether you're a player, a coach, a
sports writer,
if you're in the John Wristen doghouse, sometimes you got to fight to get out of it, and Daniel Weiss did, and he was an impact player on offense and a returner.
Joe, you've never been in my doghouse.
No, we've had a couple of them over the years.
We've only had one. So
you're in the doghouse. You just got thrown outside. And
we've never been in. I've never had you in the doghouse.
Well, that's nice.
Because I've had to work with you.
That's right.
And I've been told...
You have to answer that phone.
I'm told never get in a fight with a guy that has the bigger ink.
That buys ink by the barrel. That's right.
That's right. So I appreciate what you do, and I mean that from the
bottom. I know. And it's so funny because I was telling somebody about the first time you and I really... It was you and me and Hunter, and we were in the library. And that office that had no windows, one whiteboard, a bunch of last names you couldn't read. And I was looking at this going, these guys are nuts. And,
we are.
And so from that step of the way to where we are right now eating Southwest egg rolls, it's been a hell of a ride.
It's been, but getting back to Daniel Wise, you got a sidetrack with.
Well, imagine that.
Questions are rolling in about the doghouse, so we're going to get to those in the next segment.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of doghouses in my life. And
lives in the doghouse.
Well, let's leave my life out of it, okay? We're to Daniel Wise credit, okay.
Who's Daniel Wise?
Yeah. Well, Daniel goes out of his way to make young people feel a part of our PAC program. I haven't met anybody that says, God, that Daniel Wise is a great kid. He's made an attempt to go see all the young people. In fact, it's so impressive. Brooklyn, Coach Ellen Hedrick's granddaughter,
right?
She'll sit in the new weight room on a stool looking for Daniel Wise. That's because how much Daniel Wise has touched her life. We have a young man that we've kind of adopted out of Fowler that had an accident a couple years ago. And Daniel invited him up. He was part of our Friday night routine. And it was very impressive. We had another family that was part of our young kid package. And I got an email today saying, boy, tell Daniel thank you for making my son feel good. I mean, he goes out of his way. And that's a great character he is. He's got great parents. And I'm sure going to miss him.
All right, we are here at Andy Max. We got our question and answer segment coming up. If you're here in the house and you want a prize, if you want one of these water jugs or shirt, Hot Mike is ready for you. Come on over and give John a question. Come back. And if you have a question, if you're listening to us tonight, 719-671-7574. We're going to take those questions when we come back. John Wristen Show from Andy Max on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350.
Welcome back to Andy Max, John Wristen Show here on Fox Sports Pueblo. Let me get in there. You can turn the headset down. Now we get John back in there. I'm Jim Brooks. We're with Joe Cervi tonight and the head coach, John Wristen.
No, this is the head coach.
And we've got the hot mic is ready to go. And I wonder if it's a question about the doghouse. Here we go. Go ahead, Rochelle.
This is the head coach.
Head coach, Rochelle Wristen.
This is a question for head coach John Wristen. Coach Wristen, did you know that today is Jim Brooks' birthday?
Well, I did, but I forgot. That's how old I'm getting. So let's we can all sing Jim Brooks happy birthday at the end of the show here. Okay,
right, we'll do that. Okay.
Thank you. That was
I thought she was going to break into it right now. That'd have been cool.
All I know is that I never saw three guys sweat so much when somebody took a microphone. Just now.
Did you see? We're all kind of backing up right here.
Beating up, and shaking, and
I go,
exhale.
Well, I can imagine if Lorelai came and took the mic. You said you happened to join her and Lorelai last night for a drink, I guess, at the Cactus Flower or wherever.
Well, I was
home doing algebra.
Well, about time. And that's what I heard.
Again.
I was at the hospital seeing the Chatter Steak kid.
Of course, yeah, she was telling me about that.
I was, and they said they were there, and I said I was hungry, so I went and got chicken fajitas and joined them, you know?
That's what I was cooking, as a matter of fact.
That's what she said.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
So,
all right.
We had a nice discussion.
All right. So let's get right to the question, shall we?
I got all kinds of questions.
All right. Tundra's checking in. You know, Tundra's not here tonight to get the Hall of Fame deal going on for Nikki Whitaker. Formerly known as
Toussaint.
The man formerly known as Toussaint.
We can eat all our wings now.
Yes, right, exactly. We don't have to worry about any of that, right? We can get after it. But Tundra wants to know, how will you maintain this great momentum for the team next season after your great finish? How are you going to do that?
I can't wait to get going. I can't wait to get our kids started for this 2017 team. I'm excited about some of the things that we're going to do. Some of the things we're going to do a little bit different, but we're going to do them better than we ever have. And, you know, I really think that our program has done a lot of great things. But the reality of it, you're only as good as your last game, and you're only as good as your last season. And so we're going to improve. And my deal is I'm really excited about having and taking the details not only of our talented kids, but I really want to work on the things that take no talent. And I want to be great workers. I want to be great guys that understand the little things, or be dedicated to the little things, and understand that's the process you have to do on every day. And so I'm excited about that. And the season's only 3 days old, but the life of the 2016 ended Saturday afternoon, and we're building for our 2017 team.
One of your biggest fans, Uncle Charlie, checking in from Texas after a slow start. Says it was a great year. Wants to know, what do you think the conference is going to look like next year? You have any idea? Probably getting better. Seems like the depth is getting better and better each year.
I think Dixie State's going to be a team to beat. I think Mesa has a lot of kids returning. We can't wait for that opportunity. And
they may score 100 here at the Thunder Bowl next year against Mesa, people. If you're going to get tickets for one game next year at the Thunder Bowl, and there's only going to be 5, because I looked at the 6 road trips we're taking next year. Holy moly. We are everywhere next year.
We're
Johnny Cash song next year. We've been everywhere.
We'll play in 4 different states. We'll play in really 5, but we'll play in New Mexico. We'll play in Texas. We'll play in South Dakota. We'll play in Utah, and we'll play here in Colorado.
It's just miserable long next year, but it's fun. We're going to Rapid City for the first time, going to Dixie for the first time, and then Durango's always a fun place. And the In-N-Out trip of In-N-Out Burger in Las Vegas, New Mexico, that's a day to see ya. We're out. But the makeup of next year's team, I know you got to start now. Do you have to guard against complacency? And I know coaches don't like to talk about that, but I mean, you win 5 straight, you come into 6, you're a favorite, boom, you lose, then it's like reality, then boom, you lose, and then it's like, do you have to guard against that?
You know what we're going to do? We're going to work on the little things that don't take talent, and thinking you're complacent. We're going to work on those things that don't let you be complacent. And so I think we had a little bit of that this year. And so we're going to work on those things that really don't take any talent. And that has very little things that boil it down, and that's back to your attitude. It's back to your work ethic. It's about understanding the details of your job. It's about being respectful of your teammates. It's about respectful of the game and what you're supposed to do.
I think that's something you talked. We talked a lot about that this year. Is respect for the game. Sometimes if it comes too easy, you take it for granted how hard it is to win a single football game, and then all of a sudden you lose respect for the work ethic that you have to put in to win one game.
Well, I think we all have heard this. When you assume things, that's what happened to us.
Yep.
All right, Madison and Abigail.
Oh, good.
All right. What's your favorite memory of the year?
Tonight.
My favorite memory of the year. Great question. I think the reality of us going to Western State and pulling that off in a very physical, hard-fought ball game, because it's hard to play in Gunnison. And
it just sucks to play in Gunnison. You can say it. Well, you can't say it. I can say that.
But I think the way our kids battled and pulled that off, but part of the dynamics was to seeing how our team came together in that fourth quarter, and the defense is giving everybody a little juice and a little excitement, and so I thought that was my favorite memory.
Yeah, I think that was the best team celebration of the year too.
Right.
The victory, everybody was happy with each other. And Madison and Abigail reminding you, remember Rochelle at Christmas, Mrs. Rochelle as they call her, and they want to know what you're getting here, but of course we can't say that because Rochelle is here. Unless we want to put Rochelle in the soundproof booth.
Well, I think I need to take them to lunch to discuss my ideas and thoughts. So I'd be glad to do that.
Got another one here.
Okay, go ahead.
Who are the underclassmen that will be the team leaders in 2017, and who are some newcomers that should and must make an impact next year?
Well, I think that's a work in progress, Joe. I don't, I think
that's not from me.
You're right, but I think that's a work in progress over what's going to happen this offseason. And I think every kid, every minute, every day is a little bit different for these kids. And I'm going to find out who's going to be that the way we're going to go to work in January and how they're going to put their mindset to doing that. I think we got a veteran group coming back on offense, and we got a veteran group coming back on our offensive line. And I think those guys are the guys that's going to have to drive the bus if I had to say anything right now. I think Brandon Pear on defense, he has to step up in a leadership role. He has to get out of his comfort zone a little bit and be a great leader on this team. And I think we got some really good young freshman kids on defense. You come out and watch us play, I think you're going to go, wow. And I hope you go wow, because we're going wow in practice. And I think that we're going to be able to continue this momentum of playing great defense here at CSU Pueblo.
Here's a question just to piggyback on that a little bit. And Jim and I just hit on it just a little bit on the air Saturday is, since AJ rallied, do you have a quarterback competition controversy in the spring? How does Rex respond for something like this? Or is that something you got to wait and see? I mean, I don't know how he responded Saturday, but quarterback, it was such a big question last spring, last summer, even the start of this year, and now are you back to square one again?
Well, I think that I appreciate the way AJ's handled this thing. I appreciate the way that he's responded. But every job's open for competition. Every job has a chance to get, if they're not doing the job, they're going to get fired and have a chance to grow from there. And especially at the quarterback position, that's such a vital part of that. And so it's going to be open. We have Brandon Edwards who can throw the ball.
Spin it. He's the Rex of last year picking apart the scout team.
And of course, he ends up not playing this year, so was this more or less a redshirt year for him?
That was our plan, was to redshirt him. So we had some separation, so we have 2 years with him.
All right. Okay, we got more questions coming up since we don't really have an opponent to talk about. The next segment, we're going to do some more questions. So we're going to do that when we come back. I got 3 or 4 more of them lined up here for our final segment. Right after this timeout, John Wristen Show from Andy Max on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
Welcome back. Our final segment of the show this evening. Final segment of the show for 2016. Kind of melancholy. Well, let me turn you back up there because I turned you off there when you had your headset on.
And it's on your birthday.
It is. That's right. Well, that should be reason for celebration, shouldn't it? Okay, which athletes do you foresee participating in Pro Day this year?
Larry Clark.
I think all of our guys, Larry Clark, I think LaRon has some desire to go do that. I think Sammy has some desire to go do that. I think Daniel Weiss has some desire right off the top of my head.
All right. And then any local players that you can mention right now? We're funny, the recruiting season. That's one thing we can talk about. You get a chance now to go do a little bit more hands-on stuff without having to worry about preparing for ball games. But can you mention any local players at this point, or is that against the rules?
I can't mention local players at this point, but I really believe there's 5 or 6 in the area that we're really excited about. I like the kids at all the schools, and we're looking for the right fit to be a part of something that is pretty special.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, well, Joe kind of touched on it. Listener wants to know who's on the schedule next year.
Well, we have the same schedule, except it flops. So we get Mines here the first week, and then we go down to West Texas, and then we go up to South Dakota Mines, and then we come back for we go on the road again.
Yeah, so the month of October next year is going to be...
It's all here.
That's the easy month. And September's the hard month, pretty much.
So
it's the same schedule. Okay, got that. And And let's see, who are the underclassmen that will be team leaders in 2017? But you kind of touched on that because it remains to be seen who takes charge.
Well, I think that's, I want our kids to have a break. I want them to get away from this. And when we come back to work on middle of January, spring semester, we're going to see who's going to emerge as a leader.
That question came from Kevin, of course, Schreiber, super fan Kevin. And
is he in Puerto Rico now, or is he?
I'm sure where he's at this week.
State Farm, or not a State Farm. He's trying to blow up State Farm.
Yes, exactly.
So that's what he's trying to do. So the farmer's agent that he is, to be able to do that. What
can't hide money.
That's it. That farmer's, he's got their own golf tournament, and he's probably there getting ready. And
oh yeah, they bring in that's a pro tournament, and they get to go pro-am on Wednesday, which was yesterday.
How wonderful is that weather today? Like, I just wanted to.
We should have teed it up, played night.
Yeah, okay, we got one final question here that's coming in. John, the last few years you've had Thanksgiving with the ball club. It's going to be a little different this year. You don't have that dinner, so what are your plans this year for Thanksgiving?
Well, I want to have my family over to my house. I haven't had that opportunity,
right.
and we've always shared it with everybody else, which has been a great event. And I'm going to smoke a turkey, and I'm going to attempt to fry a turkey also.
That's legal now here in Colorado.
Smoke. That's something else you're used to. I would turkey.
And turkeys are edible.
I thought turkey was a bowling.
Yeah, that's right. And why have the lights been on at the Thunderbolt the last few nights? Now that's a question I'm not sure about. I think they've been over at the soccer at the lacrosse field, haven't they? Have they been on at the Thunderbolt?
Until about 6:30, we've
been doing
had the opportunity to have East High practice there.
Oh, cool. Okay. So the Eagles have been practicing there.
They got
getting
the
ready
big
for their
Holy
big
Family
game.
on
That's going to be a big ball game Friday night. So there's our questions. We thank our listeners for your questions all season long, for checking in with John. We still got time for the hot mic. If somebody wants to win something over here, you can come win something on the hot mic. We got time for one more question. But John, in finishing off the show and the season, we kind of touched on it early in the show. Tough start, but to win a conference title after all was said and done, I think, of course, you've set high standards, win a national title and everything, but still, there are a lot of programs that would love to have the problem of, ho-hum, we got to celebrate a or a tri-championship.
It's, I don't think we feel that way. I think the things and the events that occurred to affect our record, I think we're a little melancholy on all that. I think that there's something to be said about the way we were able to go win 8 games when it didn't look good for us, and how they responded, because life's all about responding, and I hope those kids realize that lesson. And I thought our players bought in. I thought they did a better job of understanding how to play the game, respect the game, and respect the work that you had to go about it. I thought our staff did an outstanding job of holding that together. Some teams you just got to get out of the way. Some teams you got to lead a little bit more, and that's kind of where I feel like this 2017 team or 2016 team happened. And we're going to learn those lessons, and we're going to carry it over to what we're doing in 2017.
Well, now one other listener wants to know about the new scoreboard coming in. We kind of talked to you and I. We want to see it to believe it, don't we? That's kind of in the works. It's supposed to be there, but when it gets there, celebrate then, right?
Well, we've all heard the saying it's theory and reality. I think the theory of it makes a lot of sense. Let's see what happens with the reality of it.
And that'll be just another great addition to the Thunderbolt if that does get done.
I think that's kind of the missing piece.
Yeah,
make it happen, John. That's what you do. Make it happen.
I think the Liamidi Warrior Center was awesome addition this year. Everybody loved being up there before the game tailgating. You just see the tours of the parents and the kids when they come out of there, because we'd be down there on the field and be going, man, that place is awesome.
Well, it's all credit to the Friends of Football, and Dan DeRose and Lee Meisner did a great job of organizing that. I think Houston Construction did a fabulous job of putting that all together, and all the people in the community that were able to help support something that was badly needed, because we had outgrown that. And it wasn't so much the weight room that we needed, it was what inside with the training room that was so important for us to be able to have that.
All right, we only got about a minute left in the show. You want something quick? The hot mic?
Oh, no,
Ed loved the shirt. That's right.
Joe, would you please read that shirt?
Yeah, on the front it says RMAC, go find yourself.
Fund yourself.
And on the back it says 2015 asterisk this, 2016 ref that.
There you go. John, you got about 30 seconds. Thank the fans. Do your thing.
I love that shirt, and I'm just glad our staff didn't have anything to do with that. And I really, it was a remarkable year. But I think I need to throw a challenge out to the fans. I need to have them understand it's so important that your support and help coming to the games is such a factor about winning college football games. So I want to throw this thing out. We're ending 16. I want you to get on a high for 17 and come be a part of it. And I'm really lucky to be a part of this, and we're lucky to be a part of the Thunderwolves.
All right, John, thanks a lot. Thanks for everything. Thanks, Joe Cervi, my partner. Caitlin Norton's been our producer and engineer. Nick Donovan, everybody involved with AM 1350. Everybody here at Andy Max and all our fans. Till we talk to you next year. Good night, everybody.
Go Pack!
Thanks for listening to the John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350. Tune in again next week at the same time for all things CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football. Only on Fox Sports 1350, KCCY Pueblo.